What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of the Brothers of Deconstruction, and this is literally one of the reasons me and Bruce created this YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be bringing you my review of Power Rangers. Now, one of the things that me and Bruce came up with when we first started this channel was to talk about Power Rangers related stuff, but then we didn't want to kind of corner ourselves into that area, that genre, so that's when we started doing movie reviews and things like that. But essentially, this is what we were meant to do. So they came out with a new Power Rangers movie this month. I'm going to talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, or would have done differently, and of course, there are spoilers. So one of the things that I liked was the opening of the movie. A battle was taking place. It kind of reminded me of the Power Rangers fan film that came out a couple of years ago. That was like a hard rated R that had Katie Sackhoff and Dawson from Dawson's Creek in it. I can't remember the actor's name right now. It kind of reminded me of that, but a battle had just taken place. We see the Red Ranger crawling across the ground. The Yellow Ranger reaches her hand out and gives her the power coin. Basically, she demorphs and is some alien. Now, I've seen, this is my second time seeing the movie. The first time I saw it yesterday, and then I saw it again because a friend wanted to go see it. And I used this screening as my review screening. But when the alien was revealed, that got a reaction out of the crowd. People were surprised. Zordon is the Red Ranger, just like there was speculation. We had been hearing rumors that Zordon was going to be the Red Ranger and Rita was going to be the Green Ranger. Even before those rumors about Rita being the Green Ranger, we kind of figured she was the Green Ranger simply because of her outfit and the pictures that we saw. So he takes his coin out and he demorphs, and we see that it's Zordon, and he buries the coins. Now Rita walks up. They're basically guarding the Zeo crystals. Zordon is like talking to Alpha while he's crawling on the ground before all of this. And he tells him, like, hey, send the meteor this way. We gotta stop her, whatever. The meteor, like, hits the earth, blasts her into the water. And so we kind of get the movie going forward. I thought it was an interesting opening for that movie, or for the movie. I also like the first act. Obviously, for anybody that watches movies, we know that in the beginning of the movie, you're introduced to your characters and to the world that they live in. Or we kind of figure out some stuff about them, what the status quo is before it's kind of flipped on its head for them. And so I like the first act as well. We got introduced to Jason. He plays a prank. They take a cow, and there's a joke about his friend milking the cow, not realizing it was a male cow, not a female cow, which was funny. He ends up running away from the police, ends up crashing his car. I guess he tears his ACL, messes his knee up, whatever, gets on house arrest. Later on, Kimberly refers to that moment, and she's like, go Tigers, and there's a bull on the locker room. So I'm assuming it's obviously a rival high school that they were playing a prank on. But Jason does that. We get some interaction with him and his dad, basically saying, look, I had scouts coming to the games and everything. You really messed this up big time. Jason is the only one that we get introduced to early on, like his family life. Everybody else we basically meet in detention. Where Kimberly and Billy, we meet in detention. That was another thing that I liked about the movie. It seemed like a coming of age movie, like a Breakfast Club type of movie. So the opening and the first act I really enjoyed. I also enjoyed the third act as well. I'll get to that a little bit later. But there were moments, going back to the chemistry, there were some moments where, and I think this goes to the acting of the Rangers, that I really enjoyed too. They did a really good job with their roles and what they were given. I even liked some of the cornier moments that kind of belong in a Power Rangers film, because I mean, it's Power Rangers. And I even liked Elizabeth Banks' Rita. She was cheesy and hamming it up. She was chewing on some scenery, but I liked a lot of this. I really did enjoy the movie. I liked the chemistry, the acting, all that type of stuff. I don't want to get too caught up on kind of explaining the plot of the movie or talking about what I liked, because I liked the opening along with the first act. I liked the third act. I like the acting from the Rangers and Rita. I even like Bill Hader as Alpha. And I think Bryan Cranston did a good job as Zordon. And again, I like the corniness that popped up in the movie. Some of it was a little annoying, but I like the corniness because, I mean, you can't have a Power Rangers anything without there being some type of corny charm to it. And even just going back to the chemistry, there was a scene at a campfire that I thought was a really good heartwarming moment. I'm going to talk about the campfire a little bit more, but getting to the things that I didn't really like or would have done differently, the tone it can be all over the place, honestly. And it didn't bother me the first time around, but then going in the second time, when like I said, I used the second viewing as a review viewing, the tone I can agree with people that say that the tone is all over the place. Bruce, we texted after the movie because he saw, again, you guys may know, he stays in Seattle now. He signed up for early screening, and so he saw it Wednesday night, I believe. So I saw it yesterday morning, or really afternoon, because Beauty and the Beast ended up playing and they couldn't put the movie on. It was some crazy stuff. So I went in for like an 11:15 showing, and I ended up staying and catching a 12:30 showing. So I saw it yesterday afternoon instead of morning. But we talked afterwards, and like after talking to him, I realized what he said about it being two different movies. I don't wholeheartedly agree with it, but I can see why he says that, because the tone is kind of all over the place. Like, that's the first part of the movie, like learning about the kids, and then all the Ranger stuff happens in the third act, which is why I enjoyed the third act. But that's also another thing I would have done differently. The Rangers, they were only in the suits for like the last 20, maybe 30 minutes of the movie. I think you could have had more. Now the fighting, there's fighting in the suits. They also have a training montage, and that's what kind of makes up the second act as well. I just think it was I don't know. I feel a particular way that I can't really explain about the second act. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it either. There was a lot of stuff in the second act as far as training, and I don't want to say it was boring, but to me, and there are like action scenes. One thing that I do like that they actually did, they framed the scene like they're escaping and there's a train coming, and the road that they're on intersects with the tracks and where the exit is. And so after everybody gets in the car, they gun it, and it's like, okay, we're gonna make it. You got somebody saying, oh, we're gonna make it. One person says, like, I hope we make it. And then another person is like, we're not gonna make this. They get across the tracks, but right when they get across the tracks, they actually get hit by the train. And I actually like that they did that, because that's something that you didn't see coming. You can always see them go, whenever in any movie, whenever it's something like that and it's a close call, and you're like, there's no way that person or this group of people should have made it and should have beat this train or this bus or this other incoming car or something like that. They always do. I like that they're like, no, you're right. They're not going to make it, but because they had the coins with them, that's how they survived. And even the very next morning, they were like, well, after they wake up, I guess they sleep an entire day. Kimberly says that she slept the entire day. They all wake up at home. They don't know how they got back home after the crash, and they're realizing that there's something different going on. But Jason and Kimberly talk, and Jason even says, like, we got hit by a train last night. How are we standing here? So I like that they kind of nodded to that, like, yeah, we didn't let that happen and we actually went through with it, but because of the coins, that's how they survived. Anyway, moving on. That the train scene is one action scene that I'd say. There's an action scene where they're learning about the putties and kind of training and preparing for the battle with Rita. I think that stuff could have been used, and again, this is after me discussing it with Bruce. I think that stuff, there could have been a scene where they had more of a bonding moment, or they kill Billy in the movie. Rita kills him. They take him to the command center, and Zordon brings him back. Like when it takes Billy's death for them to all be like, look, this is the only thing that matters right now after not being able to morph. Like they dragged along them not being able to morph. And me and Bruce talked, we both believe that it would have served better. Like it didn't, like you guys didn't need to kill Billy to bring the team together. Like there could have been a point where, hey, they morphed the first time, but then they get into a fight or they get into some type of battle beforehand and they lose the suits or they lose the power of the connection to the morphing grid. And it's because they don't work as a team, this and that. That kind of could have set that up a little bit better, because Bruce also said that two of them should have already been friends. You could have taken that time away and have the two friends, whoever it was, whether it be Jason and Zach or Jason and Billy, Jason and Kimberly, whoever, you could have had them step aside and just be like, look, we need to get it together because this clearly isn't working. We just thought that it would have worked better if two friends would have been like, look, we have to get it together. We need to work this out. Because one of the reasons why I think that would have worked better, instead of showing them actually training, I already thought, or going in, I was already thinking that, look, because they inherit these coins and there are changes going on with them and they show them jumping across cliffs, being extra agile and fast, I just naturally assumed that they were going to inherit like all this martial arts knowledge or all this fighting knowledge. So I didn't need to see them getting their ass kicked in training, which was fun. It was fun. I think for what they were trying to go with, I wouldn't have killed Billy. I would have cut out a large part of that training sequence and them going through all that and just show them failing as a team and then realizing that, hey, we really need to come together and do this if we're going to actually morph. That takes me into another point. Zordon. I like Bryan Cranston as Zordon, his performance. Zordon was a dick in this movie. And I don't have a problem with Zordon being a dick and being harsh and basically saying, look, your team is failing. You guys are not prepared. I need to come back and lead this team. I have no problem with that. I also thought that he should have mentored them more. Bruce felt the same way. I don't think he mentored them enough to warrant him being so harsh. Even in the first viewing, I thought Zordon was a little too harsh. And this time it was like, you know, if there was more of if he was there to guide them a little bit more, I would have bought like, look, you guys are not prepared. I need to come back and lead this team. I could have bought into that a little bit more. Going back to the campfire, again, it was a heartwarming moment. It was a very heartfelt moment. Basically, the campfire is them talking and sharing secrets because they're like, well, maybe we can't morph because we don't know each other. So let's share a secret, this and that. And so they basically everybody shares a secret except for Kimberly, which even in the first viewing I thought was weird. And then going to her secret and her reason, she thinks that she's the reason why they can't morph because she shared like a nude photo of one of her friends to a guy that she liked, whatever like that. I thought the nude photo shit was weak. Thought it was whack as hell. At the campfire, they're basically sharing secrets. It was a little, while it was heartwarming, it was corny. And I don't mean the good kind of corny that you expect in a Power Rangers movie. There were moments where it was like, oh, that's that Power Rangers charm. They're capturing it. It was, I don't know if I'm supposed to be uncomfortable during this scene or supposed to be rolling my eyes, but yeah. And this is when, even before the movie came out, I saw articles about how they're making Trini gay and Billy is on the autistic spectrum. Trini being gay, in my opinion, I don't even think enough people are going to watch this video to really be upset. Trini being gay seemed really forced to me. I think they did it kind of heavy-handed. Another thing I didn't like, Trini was probably the least developed character out of the core Rangers. But her, like, Zach is talking at the campfire. He's like, boyfriend problems? And she's like, yeah, boyfriend problems. And then he looks and is like, girlfriend problems? And then everybody like looks at her and she's just like, you know, my family believes in labels. And I was like, I can. So when that happened, I was like, you guys had to be heavy-handed with it, I guess. Because it also seemed like her moments, like again, she's a loner. She was saying that she kind of likes the fact that, you know, she's been to 3 different schools in 3 years and nobody gets to know her. I get that. They should have done more with her. Again, if you cut down on that training stuff and even add some of that stuff in, maybe in the first act or maybe early in the second act, I would have bought into it more, because basically she just said my family, you know, is in that labels and they want me to have, they basically want me to have friends that they want for me, and they basically want me to kind of live how they want me to live instead of me being my own person. And so I kind of got what they were trying to do. Like, they're teenagers, you know, they're discovering themselves, things like that, but they were just kind of too heavy-handed with it to me. Other than that, I think the last thing that I would have done differently is with the fight against Goldar, who, by the way, still looks weird as fuck, but I accepted it for this movie. The fight against Goldar, I liked how they had the Zords individually attack him, and they showed the Zords working together. Like, Kimberly would fly past, pick Billy up, drop him. She would pick Jason up and lift him up so the T-Rex could fire at Goldar. They didn't show the Zords coming together as the Megazord. Like, they were trying to hold the line. Goldar basically busted up this Krispy Kreme, who they wrote Krispy Kreme as a vital part in the movie because that's where the Zeo crystal was buried under, I guess. I salute. I give hats off to them for nabbing this Krispy Kreme product placement, because while it was annoying as shit, I give them props for doing it. Because if you're gonna do it, that's the only way you can. They even showed Rita eating a donut, and early on when she found out that the Zeo crystal was at Krispy Kreme, and she was like, this place is important, it's magical. And then Billy is just like, yeah. And then she was like, it must be, because all of life is buried there. So I get it, and it was funny, but then it was just like, you guys really laid it on thick with the Krispy Kreme shit, but okay. Like, he busted up the Krispy Kreme and basically opened up a hole in the street. And at the bottom of it, I guess, was where the Zeo crystal was. We see the bottom of the pit, but we didn't see the crystal, or at least I didn't think it looked like the crystal. And he ends up pushing the Zords in there, or in this crack in the street, and, you know, they're all like thinking that they're burning, and then they show like glimpses of the Zord, like the Megazord forming. But I'm like, all during that battle, again, and this was in the first viewing as well, during the battle I was just like, when are they gonna form the Megazord? Or why isn't Zordon telling them, like, oh yeah, you guys can form a giant robot to fight this thing? It's a missed opportunity to me. Even my friend who saw it with me, she said that during that fight scene, she was waiting for the Megazord to come together. She was like, I was wondering why they were taking so long to form the Megazord to fight them, but, you know, I still liked it. So it was a really big missed opportunity to me. But overall, I did like the movie. I had fun with it. I just would have done it a different way. I also, besides the Krispy Kreme stuff that I forgot to like actually take down on my notes, there's a cameo. I found out about the cameo early as well. Amy Jo Johnson, the original Pink Ranger, Kimberly, and Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, Tommy, they make a cameo in the movie. And the CG, now the CG is bad. And there are moments in the movie where the green screen or something like that is like really noticeable and obvious. After that, when they're done fighting Goldar, like the Zord is just standing there and it cuts to the civilians on the street, and I didn't mind it the first time, and it showed them, like, it cut to the civilians, cuts back to the Zords, and then it shows the civilians again, but it's closer up in the group, and Amy and Jason are there, and then everybody in the group's like starts taking pictures with their phones. Just looking back on it, it didn't annoy me the first time in the first viewing. The green screen, the bad green screen annoyed me. It was super, super obvious. But like the second time, I was just like, why do we need to see this cameo in this way? I don't have a problem with the cameo itself. I just have a problem with how they executed it. But yeah, overall, again, I enjoyed the movie. I had fun with it. If you're I'm not a casual Power Power Rangers fan, but I'm also not super hardcore either. I'm somewhere in the middle. I think even as a Power Rangers fan, you can enjoy this movie. Just don't go in expecting to see a lot of action in the suits, because that was one of the things that was more annoying. And then I saw that people were kind of speculating, no, we might get suit stuff, in the third act of the movie. I hope it's not that way, but it might happen that way. Don't go in thinking that you're going to see a ton of action, but you can still enjoy this movie. There are still enough moments where it's fun. So overall, just those are the things that I know this dragged on, like the training and the non-morphing thing in the movie. I know this dragged on a bit, but yeah, that's just some of the things that I didn't like or would have done differently. It's really just restructuring that second act to bring them together. It's really like a character study on the Rangers, and then we get like the actual fighting stuff in the last 20 to 30 minutes of the movie. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the movie. I mean, if I'm gonna give it a grade or a rating, I give it like a C plus grade, maybe like a 6 or a 7. Nothing super great. There are obvious flaws with it, but it is enjoyable. There are just some things that they could have done better, mainly the tone and blending the two tones together a little bit more, or a little bit better, so it doesn't seem like two different movies. Yeah, so those are my thoughts. Hopefully I'll start, I know I say this after every video, hopefully I'll start posting more videos. I just gotta find time and everything like that. I had a friend tell me to start posting more videos, so I'm gonna try to get into that. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the Power Rangers movie. Hope to see you guys again. I don't know what video I'm gonna do next. I do plan on seeing Ghost in the Shell next week, just because the trailer intrigued me. I didn't see the original anime, but I guess the Ghost in the Shell trailer might be coming up soon. There also was a Justice League trailer released earlier today, so I'm probably going to review that as well. Here's a hint, I wasn't really into it. Yeah, I'll catch you guys later.